As threatened, here's another 80 shilling recipe. This one from a little bit later, from 1913. And you can see that there's been a lot of changes since 1851. The most obvious one being that the gravity is way lower. It's like 30 points lower than it was in 1851, which is quite a difference, but it's still higher than modern 80 shilling. And again, this is a Shilling Ale 80 shilling. This isn't one of the modern type, which are pale ale. So you can see it's still got a higher gravity than modern 80 shilling, but a pretty crap level of attenuation leaves it under 4% ABV. So it's probably actually weaker than a lot of modern versions of 80 shilling, which is interesting. Compared to the 1851 recipe, it's pretty complicated, as there's three elements in this. More really, as there were three different types of pale malt in addition to this. But the most striking thing is a whole load of grits, which is really typical of William Younger for quite a long period, basically from around 1900 up until World War II, when they stopped using them, presumably because they couldn't get hold of them. And they never started reusing grits, I guess because it's a bit more complicated than using flake maize because you have to have a mash cooker and stuff like that. And yeah, it's more fuss, so I can see why they never went back to it. The malt content is really low. It's only just over 50%, and there's over 40% grit, which is a really unbalanced recipe. I actually had Pretty Things brew up a Younger's number one, so their strongest beer from 1939, and it has a similar grist to this, a whole load of grits in it. And it didn't taste as terrible as I sort of expected it might do. So maybe it isn't as bad as it looks, but it's still pretty weird. What I've got down as glucose in the brewing record, it just says syrup. So I've gone for glucose syrup. It could also be a type of invert syrup. So if you want to put in number one or number two invert, there's nothing wrong with that. Three types of hops, one from Kent, two of them described as Pacific, which means West Coast, which could either be West Coast of the United States or it could also be British Columbia, because I've seen British Columbian hops used in British beer before. So it's not quite sure where it is. It's most likely West Coast USA. They would use the term Pacific to dis to distinguish between West Coast and East Coast hops. And East Coast hops would generally just be called American and nothing more specific than that. But this is getting to be a bit late. By this time, I think the hop industry is pretty much dead on the East Coast. The hops look cheaper than the ones in the 1851 recipe, which were all English and some quite classy English hops. Whereas this has got a lot of, well, probably American hops, but West Coast hops, and they're going to be cheaper than English hops. So it looks like a cheaper beer, and the grist certainly looks cheaper with all those grits in it. Anyway, I think that's all I need to say about this. I hope you enjoyed the recipe, and I might actually eventually get around to doing one of the modern style of 80 shilling. Okay, bye.